there are things you spend on I don't, and it's another X amount here, another X amount there. And we don't have conversations about that. All of a sudden I see, wow, $700 out in the bank. Where'd that go?
What are you talking about?
You went to get your eyes tested last couple weeks ago and you spent $700.
But you know it's once a year that I go and I get my eyes checked. I'm not gonna justify that. I'm not. And this is where I get angry.
In the very beginning, it was like I was her assistant because I didn't have, like, I was figuring my shit out job-wise.
It's not like we had a conversation and I'm like, you're my assistant.
No, I didn't say that. But that's how you treated me.
But since you're not the one making money, then
I should be
other
doing
things. You should help.
It was expected that, like, I was gonna get up every morning before her and make the coffee and give it to her. And when she came home from work, I was gonna have dinner on the table and, like, I was gonna do all the laundry and, like, that I was gonna be there to do everything.
I don't think that's totally true. I think there was a bit of, like, I'm trying to help us survive and, like, get this new job and make money, and I needed help. We have struggled with this. I felt to an extent that, yes, if someone's going to sacrifice some time, it makes sense for the person who's not earning close to as much, like not even close to as, like, who's not, in the grand scheme of things, wasn't keeping us afloat even in the slightest, that made sense.
Well, there's not, I mean, you didn't invent that paradigm, right? That
Right.
money equals power and money equals some privilege in the relationship.
And it is something that we have talked through, and I have worked on, and it has been very, very, very hard to switch that mindset. In the past, I would say entitlement, yes. Today, I just feel like it kind of comes from a place of, I don't know how to keep up. I'm nervous when there's dishes around.
Because you don't want to do them. Can I ask a question?
I mean, like, it's not because I don't want to do them. I don't mind doing the dishes. I just don't have that much time that often, and I don't know.
And maybe you don't feel like it's your job because you're more of the breadwinner?
Ding, ding, ding. If we're working, let me ask you this. If you and I are both working the same amount of hours, whose responsibility is it to clean the house and to make sure shit gets done?
Ideally, we should both split it.
When does that happen?
Well, can I just ask? I know it's not a PC question to ask, but, and does it matter how much money each person is bringing?
I think in my gut, I feel like, yeah,
I met him when I was 21. 3 months later, we got married. When we first got married, there was good and there was bad. Big picture items we're on the same page about, like how to raise our children, the fact that we both, you know, we're Jewish and we're Orthodox, so we agree on everything having to do with that. But over the course of the last few years, things have definitely become more difficult. I've been very disappointed with like where we are now and
where you are as far as
everything, like where we are financially, where we are as a couple, where we are sexually. Like, I want to be pregnant yesterday. I ask him that all the time. You know, I ask him, when am I going to have another baby, Michael? Well, we can't afford one right now, unless I do something. So I'm constantly walking around with all this resentment and all this anger and all this frustration. So, and I feel like ultimately the reason for that is I blame him. Because if he were different, then the situation would be different. If he acted differently, if he acted accordingly,
then
the
he would
situation
deliver
be
the
different.
life you
Yeah, he would deliver the
wanted.
life that I want.
So what happened?
Why am I answering all the questions? Maybe you can pipe in.
What happened?
What happened? Why have
how
I
is
not
that happened?
satisfied her every
You know what
desire?
happened? He happened.
See, that's not a nice way to introduce me. I mean, my general perspective on marriage is more that, like, it's two people trying to make it through life together as partners, and they're each contributing whatever they can in whatever way they can to get through it.
You know what that sounds like to me when he says that is I'm hearing that is what a lazy person would say. Oh, you know what it is? It's that every individual, it's like a socialism, right? So we're in a socialist cooperative now. And every person has to
In the case
contribute.
of marriage, I feel like socialism
Yeah.
isn't the worst model.
I'm sure you feel that way.
People
Every person
share
has
equally,
to contribute
they all
equally.
benefit.
Can you both
I'm the
slow it down?
person that's screwed over by it because
Just to
I'm the
clear, that
person
wouldn't be
that's
my
contributing
response.
on every front
Michal,
so
hold on.
much more than you are.
Just to be clear, that's total nonsense,
No,
right?
it isn't.
One second, I'm not doing anything towards improving our future?
I'm doing more than should
How do
be
you
required
measure
of
when
me to
you're
do.
doing enough and when I'm not doing enough?
Because all I expect of you is literally one thing and you don't do that thing.
What is that one thing?
Support me so that I don't have to work.
That's kind of a big umbrella to throw things under.
You're right, it's so hard because I'm demanding billions of dollars out of you.
What, so it's just a number? There's a number somewhere, I expect this of you?
It's not a number.
Call me when you've got it?
I don't know.
It
Yeah,
feels like a little
maybe.
bit like a ransom, honestly.
Okay, well, if you're not willing to pay it, then maybe you should be married to someone else.
Is that a healthy dynamic?
I don't care. I'm
I
so
would like to
tired
hear-
of having these conversations with you. You
Michal,
think that I want...
Michal, give
I'm
some
just,
room.
I'm so exhausted.
But you're partially exhausted because you are working so hard. You don't need
Because
to
that's
do
my
all
life
of
with
that.
him.
But you're
I can't
here
sit
with
back.
me.
I can't sit back.
You're
I always
here
have
with
to be in the
me.
driver's seat.
Can I ask you to pause?
Sure.
What do you think about that?
I would say that she's probably right, that I have a laissez-faire attitude, and I'm just generally comfortable with how things are. I just think that life is more manageable if you enjoy it. And I think that anyone who doesn't take it as a priority is just gonna fail miserably in one way or another.
How are you feeling?
Very, very angry. I've enabled you to relax and enjoy your life for the last decade. And now it's time for you to get up off your ass and start doing something and stop relaxing. Grow your damn law firm.
I am working on that.
I haven't seen you do anything. I feel so exhausted by this marriage.
We had our daughter's birthday party on Saturday, so it was a lot.
Wait, how old is she?
She's turning 6 on Thursday, yeah. I think the kids had fun as a costume party. It definitely caused a little rift between us, I think.
What happened?
I mean, I think that it was like a little overpriced. I think that it probably cost $3,000 or something like that all in, with the magician and the cotton candy and the food for everybody. But I think that it was one of those situations where, like, she was planning a lot of it and feels alone and thinks I don't care. And I feel like she's just,
Keeping you out.
she wants me to collaborate.
I
But
want you to
doesn't
show
really-
that I want you to come to me for once and be like, what are we doing for
Well,
Lou's
you
birthday?
both
Like,
have this issue of like, I want the other one to come to me.
yeah. But even like after the party, Nick laid on the couch and watched a movie, and I cleaned up everything after this huge party. And he just like watched me and didn't help me. And I got really mad. And that was like the fight.
We spent $3,000 and now it's on me to figure out how we're gonna pay for all of that.
The party was covered with cash. So it's
Sorry,
a different.
the party was covered in cash? What do you mean?
Well, like we paid for the party. Like it's not like.
Literally, we were paying for the party out of my business account and then pulling out of our other account until like things were getting extremely low.
Right,
like
but
we were
that's
just
what I'm
pulling
saying.
money willy-nilly.
But it wasn't like credit. I'm not saying like. I'm saying the party was covered, but
By
then
who? By what? What do you mean covered?
it was paid for by your business account. I'm saying, and then you have to figure out how to, like, put the money back into the account.
But what prevents the two of you from planning, for example, how much you want to spend on this party?
I didn't even know Nick wanted to set a budget. Like, he knows, and he does things at the last minute sometimes
Why
too.
doesn't she know?
That I want to set a budget? I don't know. I don't understand that answer.
Did you talk to me before? You said
I
after the
talked
money
to you
was spent
throughout
that
the
you
whole
wanted to
thing. I
set
talked
up
to you
a-
throughout the whole thing.
What gets in the way of negotiating, like figuring it out together?
I don't know. I'm much tighter with it. Like,
But if you're tighter after,
wait, what do you mean?
if you were tight in advance, you'd say, no, not this magician, or no, not this cotton candy.
Right. But I did kind of say that.
What do you mean,
And
kind
I
of?
told you, I said I canceled the cotton candy machine.
So then it's made to make it be like, oh, I'm the one taking away their joy.
I didn't.
You're the one saying we need a budget. But
Yeah.
you're not comfortable with that.
It's just a complicated dynamic where I'm put in a position to like be
The bad guy.
the cop.
I mean, I think Nick grew up with a lot of like this dynamic between his parents, watching them like fight about money, and like I think he felt very much in the middle of that and sort of.
We do want to hear something about your history, but I mean, would this be a good moment to shift to that?
Sure.
So
Just-
tell,
Just go.
just go.
Okay. Do I want to crack this egg is my question.
What's the?
I don't know if I really want to. I want to be careful about what I say.
Got it. Is
My
there a
mom's
way
not
you-
here anymore. My mom passed away.
Right.
My dad is.
Right.
And like, there's a lot of really complicated stuff towards the end of her life going on that I was in the middle of. There was like a lot of sadness.
When do you think she
experienced
started to get sad?
there. To me, it was like my teenage years, and it was my fault. That's how I've seen it for a long time.
How would it have been your fault?
I don't know, like doing drugs and going out with my friends and like being a kid in a lot of ways. I don't feel like she was like polluted with sadness throughout her whole life. I feel like it came with the pressure of sort of the lack of what she'd hoped for, which was that someone was going to take care of her, and she ended up having to, in her own way, take care of everybody else. And that made her tired and made her angry and sad and all of those things, and that eventually ate her up.
Could that be why you don't feel comfortable saying we can't afford this?
Is why. I mean, I should get what you're saying, but I'm not getting.
Meaning you have the story of your mom who, if, at least in her mind, if someone provided her with what she needed, she wouldn't get depressed and get sick and die. So how could you ever, like, say no cotton candy? Terrible things could happen to you.
I'm somebody who tries to anticipate problems. And because I'm the one who anticipates the problems, I end up just doing everything. And I think the task list became so long once the kids arrived that I gradually developed just an enormous amount of rage at how much I had to do. Jessica, I think, has, if you're okay with me speaking about what I think the issue has been for you, you look so angry.
You feeling angry? Well, maybe we should slow down.
Finish your thought.
Oh, no, hold on. To say what has angered you?
Boris's narrative of my competence and ability at different times in my life is very unfair.
Describe.
Boris, I did all those things in my life before I met you. And there are reasons why you ended up doing a lot of the things that you ended up doing.
Tell.
Boris does not like me to go grocery shopping because I shop very differently than he does. It's not efficient. It's not economical. We used to just shorthand it by saying the tomatoes, because I once went and I bought some tomatoes that were very expensive. And this was proof that I could not do it to his standards,
Got
and
it. So
therefore he
that's-
must always do
Are
it.
there other areas like that?
I hate the way that this makes me sound.
How would you characterize grocery shopping.
Who gives a fuck
us.
about the grocery shopping? It's such a small part of the overall issue. Yes, we can talk about why I would go the extra block to buy tomatoes that are as good. I don't want to buy shitty tomatoes. I want to buy nice tomatoes. But if you can get them for $1 less per pound a block away, I would go that block. That is the person I am. That is the place that I come from. I want tools to figure out how to be cool with what she decides to do about the tomatoes and the 1 million things the tomatoes are a metaphor for.
Can you guys tell me about a few more things just so I'll get a sense of it?
Boris finds me to be forgetful, unreliable, flighty, unable to concentrate, generally not trustworthy. Not in like I'm a bad person, but I can't trust that if I ask Jessica to do something, that it will get done.
Yeah.
Therefore, I must do all things by myself.
Do you see any of that in you, or is that?
I can say that that has never been my role in any previous relationship. But there's something about this relationship where I've been shifted into a role that is a mystery to me. I don't know why I'm this person in his mind and in this relationship.
Do you want to try talking about finances?
Sure.
Go ahead.
We know the answer. We
Okay.
need to make more income. That's the answer. We can't cut back on anything because there's not nothing to cut back on. We need to bring in more. There are things you spend on, I don't, and it's another X amount here, another X amount there. And we don't have conversations about that. All of a sudden I see, wow, $700 out in the bank. Where'd that go?
What are you talking about?
You went to get your eyes tested last couple weeks ago and you spent $700.
But you know, it's once a year that I go and I get my eyes checked. I'm not going to justify that. I'm not. And this is where I get angry. Because this is where, like, that's the conversation we're having.
It just came up. It wasn't conscious. I wasn't.
What conversation do you want to be having?
You wanted to talk about money, and here's a conversation about money.
So why didn't you talk to me about it then? Why did you have to wait? Like, if there's something bothering you.
So, if you want Rod to talk to you more, you have to make the conversations inviting.
Okay.
If you're going to keep being angry, you're not going to have that thing you want.
What triggered the anger?
Because I've taken a lot of time away to be with our daughter. And I don't regret 1 minute. I'm thrilled that I've been home. But we lost a lot of money when I was home. So now it's like catch up.
But it sounds like you were regretful for the last decade.
And then when he says something like that, I'm not interested to talk to him about it. Because like because it is so, it's so condescending. You're in a job, so I'm frustrated. I just feel like it's the same dialogue over and over again. Years of it, because I feel like it's so suppressed for so long on the reality, on how much it hurts.
What hurts?
I don't know what I'm saying. I don't. I really don't.
Agree.
I really don't. I don't know how to communicate. I don't know what to say. I just think that you can apply yourself so much more, and you don't. And maybe this is who you are. And like, this is who I am. Anxious and angry over performance.
Over whose performance?
Rod's, because I didn't have a performance. I took too much time off. And that's what I'm angry at. I'm angry at myself.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, that's it. So honest, I can't be any more honest. And yes, I expect a lot from you.
Over the last decade, that's how old her daughter is. I've stepped
What did you just hear Allison say?
But he didn't. Okay,
Hold on.
sorry.
What did you just hear Allison
She's
say?
admitted that she's upset with herself for taking so much time off.
Yeah.
And that's obviously, true and deep.
And hard.
Yeah. But I didn't acknowledge it. I heard it, but I didn't acknowledge it.
Right.
But also because of that, we have an awesome kid, and you're an awesome mum. So you have to also give yourself a pat on the back for, it might not be in the bank, but it's certainly in life experiences.
That's great, but not the point.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, it's not. Doesn't feel good. I feel the same way, Nico. If I could lay on the floor, I would do the same. I would do the same exact thing right now. On the sisal rug, I would lay right like that. Now that's how I feel.